So I thought I'd do a video as a bit of a roundup of everything that's going on in the garden, all the projects we've started all at the same time, and give you an idea of how things are moving along. So I'm going to do it like a bit of a walk around and just give you an idea of how things are progressing. So all the sleeper walls are in now. They do need another coat of that oil to finish, and then I will get that video up because that's really kind of made them how they are. That's really kind of given them a really nice finish. All the sub base is pretty much down now. I need to do a little bit of levelling, so this is ready to be for the paving to be laid all over it. And another video which is in the making is the pad stones and the footings for the gazebo. Now the gazebo is going to sit on, hopefully on the 4 posts. I've got a footing here just in case I feel I need it, but it's kind of teetering on the edge of needing to have a centre post or not. I think what I'm going to do, because it's a timber frame, is just increase the size of the braces, and the roof load isn't going to be heavy, so hopefully we can get away with keeping this an open span. And the patio is going to be all of this area and also the concrete area which kind of abuts the house below the bay window there. So we'll pave over all that. And then that paving also continues down to the bottom, which I'll show you now. It's just a kind of second layer where we had to split it as a terrace. So this is the lower part of the patio, this terrace, and I will end up building some steps down, probably from oak sleepers as well. I should really have done it at the same time, but I hadn't really designed it. I was kind of designing as I went along with this project, and I need to incorporate some herb, sort of raised bed gardens here, probably just one along that far wall, and then obviously all this furniture will move up under the gazebo. So this will be the limestone paving as well up to this wall, and then a future project which probably won't happen this year, I'd like to think it would, will be some steps going down to a decking area with kind of railings around it, which will kind of just give another level overlooking the lower garden. So that's the plan. There's no real urgency for that, but that's kind of how we see it all working. As I said, this is the area which is currently just a concrete slab, currently a tipping ground for all sorts. But there'll be kind of a seamless, well actually there'll be a drain which I'm going to install between the two areas, because all of this slab slopes away from the house, and I want to make sure all that surface water hits the deck, comes across, hits the channel drain and heads along. And I'll probably dig in just a small sort of gravel pit here, and we'll stick a plant pot or something on top. So that's the plan for here. So that will just become patio, which will be a really nice way of making use of this space, and possibly like a little garden store over in the corner there for kids' toys. And then this whole area is the eyesore of the house at the moment. This porch was built back in the 40s, and it's just a monstrosity at the moment. It's lost about 3 panes of glass already, and I'm surprised it's still holding itself up at the moment. Most of the glass is just held in with some lime putty, as all the wooden frame is just completely rotted away. So it's pretty much a hazard now. So the idea is to drop all this in the next few weeks to make sure that it's safe. It's just, again, another dumping ground. So we'll get rid of that. And then these sort of curved, concretey steps need a bit more investigation. But the plan is to construct a kind of a timber frame style wall along here. So some kind of 6x6 or 5x5 posts all along, and then we'll build a raised decking over the top, keeping to the same dimensions, because this is quite a high decking, a high platform. I don't really want to start going into planning permission and getting all the kind of formalities of that. So we're going to keep it same size with some safer steps going down and some railings along the front. So again, that's probably something which we'll hit next year or maybe later in the summer. But porch is a priority that's got to come down, and hopefully that'll just kind of give it a blank canvas for when we want to start that. So this is the path that we're going to be relaying. Now unfortunately this concrete path is split and cracked, and although I haven't seen any movement in the last few years that we've been here, I don't really trust it, and I don't want to start laying these lovely new sets down if there's going to be movement. And there's only one way to do that, which is to lift all of this concrete, get rid of that, and then kind of relay. We'll put some edging down and relay some sub base down, compact it all the way, get a nice strong bed to lay it on, and then we'll get all this done. These beds are kind of coming up. Obviously we planted them up when we built these borders, so hopefully these bulbs will come up. Rose arch is kind of kicking off into bloom. This is another project, probably for over the winter when all this dies back. I want to do this in an oak sort of oak frame, make it a bit bigger, almost like a little tunnel. Just it'll tie in with the rest of the garden a bit better than that metal frame that's there at the moment. Right, I'm going to give you a look at the messy side of the garden, which is where we're going to pour the concrete slab for a future workshop or garage. But that's been kind of put on hold really whilst we get this side of the garden done and things we're actually going to use. The workshop is less of a priority, unfortunately for me, but I'll give you a look at how it's gone so far. This side of the garden, although we've got an area of lawn here, it's kind of been left as a bit of a work site. You may have been able to tell from those kind of excavation videos that all of this had to be dug out. There was a hedge along here and just endless amounts of topsoil. So I took all that out and I've put about 14 tons, 14 tons of sub-base, hardcore Mop 1, Type 1, whatever you want to call it. That's down now and that's been compacted, and we've now got a really good sized slab, space ready for the slab to be poured. I've put all the shuttering in. Again, I need to kind of reinforce that and put kind of some more supports, but all of that's in. So we need about 6 cubic meters, a full lorry load of concrete poured down here. I'm also going to reinforce it, probably over engineering it, but because it's only a timber structure, but I don't want it cracking along the line. And if we put the boiler in there, that's like a ton or so on quite a small area, and that will tidy it all up. I've also got the fence at the back there, which needs to all be replaced, and again hoping to do that this summer. Don't know where I'm going to find all this time. So no, I haven't put the last video, the picket fence, up yet. It is filmed, but I need to just finish the edit. But the picket fence is pretty much finished now. There's a little bit to finish in the corner, and I've still got to build myself a gate, but really pleased with how it's come out. It's kind of really tidied up the whole area and made it a bit of a feature really of the whole garden. So we've got a temporary bit of mesh there to stop the dog going in. You have to excuse the ducks, they're being a bit noisy. So the whole of this area is just kind of slowly getting there. The veg patch has been built up on this side of all the topsoil that came down from the top. I've been digging out, sifting with some wire mesh and relocating down to the bottom. So I've put another 2 or 3 cubic meters of topsoil down here, and that has raised up the whole of this bed quite significantly to flatten it all off, because it was kind of just dipping down with the lawn. So that's all planted up. So we've got some squash running along here, French climbing beans, courgettes along there, Eden sunflowers. We've got mange 2. Strawberries are finally, well, they're in the 3rd year now, or 2nd or 3rd year, so they're really kind of big plants. I'm hoping we'll get lots of good strawberries. Onions, main crop potatoes, salad potatoes. These are our earlies in the buckets like we did last year. This bed over here is really finely sifted topsoil, which I did last night actually. So it's quite loose and hasn't been manured or anything. So I've put all my root veg in there. So I've got carrots, parsnips. I've put some beetroot at the far end and some spring onions in there as well. So things are getting along okay in here. I just need to build up this bed here, this area here, with some more timber. We'll put a quite a big sort of 3x3 bed here, runner bean plants have got to go in somewhere, and a load of lettuce and other crops. So the idea is that this side of the garden is all raised beds and kind of quite organised. This side, each year we can kind of change it, swap it around a bit. And the lower part, I'm doing like a back to Eden method, which is when you use kind of chippings and mulch, which we've been shredding from the hedge, to lay over the soil, keep things really well fed and moist, ready for stuff to grow. So the main garden down the bottom down here is mainly left to lawn now, which is perfect. That's all we want. We've got enough maintenance of all the other parts. So I've been kind of working on the lawn, getting rid of the weeds, cutting down on the moss, reseeding, and it's looking pretty good now. Apple trees, we cut one out down here, didn't fruit at all for the last 2 years, so took that one out. We planted a couple at the bottom, so I'll show you those in a minute. But the big one is kind of reacting quite well to its pruning. I kind of took probably about 30% of the top out of it to reduce it in height and just thin it all out a bit. It was going a bit crazy, but that seems to be an annual task, so I don't know how much more we can kind of reduce it in size, but it's looking okay, looking pretty smart. Right, I'll give you one quick look at another eyesore, which is where the decking is going to go. Okay, so this area is just another dumping ground. Got a few of them. We've got a load of natural stone, building stone, that anywhere where I've gutted it out of the house or the garage, it's been heaped there ready for some walling. So that's kind of sorted. But here, when I was excavating for the patio, I just dumped topsoil over the wall, and now we've got this. So full of weeds, full of stones. So I'm just gradually kind of a few barrows each evening, sifting through that and relocating it. So we'll compact that down all over here. Then I'll put a membrane over the top of that, and we'll create our decking here. And that will have those steps, like I said, up to the top patio. So it'll come down the other side of the tree and cut into this hedge slightly, and come across a bit like a, not a hexagon, but cut the corner across here at 45 degrees and have some railings. The idea being that we can put a gate here, and it's just a bit safer for the kids. Okay, so this is the easiest part of the garden to maintain now, just lawn, which is great. And this whole area here is where we had the holly tree. We cut that down last year, we dug it out this year, and we relocated a load of turf from the top garden down to here. And it's a little bit lumpy and bumpy, but I think over the next couple of years it will flatten out and we can fill it in with some top dressing. This is our like wild area, wild borders of the garden. It's full of lilies, daylilies I think it is, all the way along here. So we just leave that where it is. When we mow the lawn, all the trimmings get chucked in behind there. Does its thing. This is all full of the sparrows and nests. Blackbirds are in this corner, so I'm not too worried about that. Behind there is only a concrete wall, so I don't want to start stripping stuff off. So these are our 3 new fruit trees. They're all dwarf trees. We've got a Braeburn apple, a plum, and a kind of an obelisk pear down that end. And Joe wants to put a wildflower bed in and some tulips and stuff for next year. But that will neaten up the bottom, just give us a nice bed that when we look down at the bottom of the garden, we've got a bit of colour. And finally, the birds have been relocated down to the bottom. This is our holiday chicken house. So when we go away, we built it last year, so when we went away for a few days, we could leave them in there. It's fox-proof and they can let themselves in and out. But I've actually used that now as their main kind of house at night. So I just open the door and they've got this kind of bottom part of the lawn, but if we want to, we can shut them away. And we've got Eden's little chicken strutting around down the bottom there as well. In the future, the plan is to relocate the poultry into the veg patch somewhere, have a little run or pen inside the vegetable patch with a hatch or a door in the picket fence, so I can open it up in the winter and they've come out each day, and in the summer they'll stay in there. And once they've gone, we've got quite a nice space down here. I was going to put a polytunnel up here, and I've got all the stuff to do that. I think I'm going to sell that and designate this as the kids area. So all of this will be gone, all that rubbish will be gone in the corner there, and we'll put a nice border here, fill it with bark, and maybe next year we'll build some fun kind of jungle gym style, maybe with some big branches and things. I was thinking got slide and swings and all that to go in there, so that'd be good fun. So they'll have their own spot to come and play in. Hopefully you enjoyed that little insight into a bit more around the place rather than just seeing all the little project videos. The videos will come slowly, probably, with the slab being poured. So I've got all the backdated footage from digging it all out, putting the base in, compacting it all down, obviously laying the slab and things like that. And then when the patio comes, when all that stone arrives, then we'll start looking at those videos. And I've got some backdated videos of that, again with all the site preparation. So there's videos to still edit, and then there's plenty more to film over the summer. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't done already, and like and share the videos. And we'll see you in the next video. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.